Hey, click the sub button, most of you didn't. Also, I stream a lot. It's in the description. Okay, bye. DBD got a quality of life update today, and if you've played DBD for any amount of time, you know that these go one of two ways. The update's either really well accepted or absolutely hated. This one seems to be split right down the middle. On the unexciting side of things, we got new lobby sounds for when you ready up and when you find a game. Endgame chat's actually readable now. They added shadows in the background. You can check the store while you're readied up. You can change your tome, stuff like that. But the real chunk of this quality of life update has to do with Survivor. I feel like I always have to set this safety net by saying I play a lot of Killer and a lot of Survivor, so all these little updates that come out affect me on both sides. I'm not your entitled Survivor main or entitled Killer main or whatever you want to say. I want to talk specifically about the new UI. We can now see recovery progress if you're working on a gen, opening a chest, cleansing a totem. If you're in chase, whether you're the obsession or not. There's talk of gen progress becoming visible. And the devs always say it's to bridge the gap between solo queue and swiffing. And as someone who has solo queued many times and actually has a whole video about solo queuing, it's miserable. However, we do need to look at the fact that this is now making Survivor as a whole significantly more powerful. There's kind of a law in DBD that no one can disagree with, which is solo queue is weaker than Killer is weaker than swiffing. The DBD community loves to argue with each other, but that's really the one thing that's not debatable. If you debate that, then it might come down to a skill issue. But with that law in mind, we need to think about what's happening here. The devs have now added so much passive communication that solo queue is moving up to swiffing potential in terms of intel. Are we on a Discord call when we're solo queuing? No, so it will never be exactly swiffing. However, with all this passive communication and all this passive intel, we have a problem on our hands. If we make solo queuing the current objectively weakest point of this entire game stronger, Killer becomes the weakest point of this entire game. You know how we all hate getting tunneled and camped? That's going to happen more often than ever. You know how we all hate the gen kick meta? That's going to become more common than ever as well. You know how we all hate slugging? That's going to become more common as well. With all this passive communication, now base kit for all survivors swiffing or not, the overall efficiency of survivors is going to go way higher. This was against a Scratch Mirror Myers. This Lori sees that Claudette takes chase and hops on a generator. We're not supposed to know where that killer is ever, and now there's a workaround. Everyone's going to know who's in chase. Discord calls used to be the way to communicate a lit hex. Now you just see someone's cleansing a totem. The improvement of efficiency is great. Solo queue needed it. However, you see my point. Killers won't be able to have fun. No one's going to want to run twins. They're going to run Blight, Nurse, and Pinhead. No one's going to run funny builds if they know they're going to get 4-outed every single time. And I actually tend to side with Survivor on a lot of things and say, well, Killers should just stop complaining and maybe get better at the game. I'm looking at you, Night players, but I'm worried that this update's going to do more harm than good. Back to that statement I said before, solo queuing is weaker than Killer is weaker than swiffing. We move solo queue up, and now an entire role in the game is the weakest point. The funniest part is we can all agree Survivor's not even in a great state right now. For example, Survivor shouldn't take a deep wound hit if they just got unhooked and hit off hook. Why are they getting punished for the Killer tunneling? Y'all remember when devs just mentioned they might make base kit unbreakable to counter slugging, and slugging became worse than ever directly after the announcement? I'm trying to say that when something gets buffed on Survivor's side, Killers are going to compensate somehow. And we can flip the table too and talk about how when gen kick meta rose so fast, we saw built comp boxes and proof everywhere. It happens on both sides. When one side gets a buff, the other side tries to compensate. Coconut RTS actually just released a video talking about what Japanese Survivor mains are thinking of the change, and they all say they want it changed back. They're all saying it's giving training wheels to bad survivors, making them not want to improve, and it's making good survivors even better. So long story short, we already are having problems with toxicity in Killers. Do we think this update's going to make the toxicity better? No, it's going to make it way worse. And for once in all of these commentary videos I do, I think I might agree with the Killers. Survivors are going to be able to have more fun than ever because the efficiency is going to be higher, so they can bring meme builds and still know what's going on. Killers will never be able to bring a fun build again if they plan to win. And before Survivor mains say something like, well, Killers shouldn't even focus on winning, they should focus on having fun. I get that, but don't you want to escape as Survivor? You can't fault the Killers even if they are bringing meme builds. If they play fair and want to get a 4K, the same way you want to bring a meme build and escape fairly. continue the conversation in the comments. Don't make it some full heated argument. There's no reason to. It is a game after all. And I'll see you in the next video.
Don't talk to me, just